Do you really think that you need a huge following to win as a creator? Here's how I found success as a small and growing creator. My name is Latricia Nicole, and if you're new here, I am a work from home wife and mom, but I'm also a small content creator. I create lifestyle, beauty, and health content, and I sprinkle in a little bit of whatever else I have going on in my life. Now let's get into it. Let's just talk results as a content creator. My results as a content creator. Let me clear that up. If you're trying to build a brand, land partnerships, or grow as a creator, I'm sharing all of the tips that I've learned so far. And if you have any more tips, you can always drop down in the comments and we can share, girl. Duh. You definitely don't have to wait until you hit 10K, 50K, 100K, even 1K in some instances before you can start seeing success as a content creator. My first tip is to figure out what it is that you want from content creation. I know everybody else's first tip is to just start. That is not my first tip. And this is why. Just starting lands under the umbrella of everything is content. And I don't believe that everything is content for a plethora of reasons. For one, when you get the everything is content, you tend to see filler videos. And one of the things that I have learned as a content creator very quickly is that your video has to provide something to somebody. People have to be able to look at it and get value from your videos, right? So if you are just creating content, you may very well just go viral. And that is why I say all the time, if your goal is to just go viral, then by all means, go for it, girl. But if you are trying to be successful, you would know that virality does not always equate success, right? I'll use TikTok for an example. A lot of people want to run up the views or go viral on TikTok because the idea is once you make it to 10K on TikTok, then you can monetize your page, and that's not necessarily true. So in order to join the Creator Reward Program, you have to have 10,000 followers and you have to have 100,000 views within, I think, a 30-day period, I believe. I don't know because I got out of that, but we'll talk about that later. And on TikTok specifically, even once you get in the Creator Reward Program, it is so hard to actually make money, which is why I am not in it. So once you get in the Creator Reward Program, I've been in it 3 times and I've gotten off 3 times. So once you get in a Creator Reward Program, they actually start to suppress your views. And in order for you to make money, you have to have 1,000 views at the bare minimum to start earning money from the video, and the views have to come from your For You page. However, I think in December that recently changed where you can get searchable views, and then the payout is based on the RPM. So you may get an RPM, like let's just say you have a viral video, you may get an RPM that may be 1 cent per 1,000 qualifying views. If you do math, that is not a lot of money, child, okay? So I learned very quickly, I have to figure out, do I just want to go viral? Do I want to be monetized on TikTok, or do I want to build a brand for myself? So that is why I say you cannot just start. You have to figure out what your goal is. Like I said, some people just want to be, you know, oh, I'm running the numbers up, I'm doing whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are trying to make money or have some type of success from social media, you have to know why. So you can't just start, girl. The easiest way to grow, though, is going to be short form content. So that's Instagram Reels, TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, right? That is the quickest way to grow a following. So you have to capitalize on that. Once you see that you start growing a following, then you have to look at your analytics and see what is it that they are looking for. And then give people more of that, girl. Give them more of that. Like my early videos were so cringy. I mean, some of these probably still are cringy, but I don't care. But I'll tell you, my first viral video on TikTok was a video of me making stew. In the video, I was explaining, I did a voiceover and I was explaining that I didn't know how to cook. So I had to call my daddy. My daddy walked me through making a stew, and then that video went viral. And so that was kind of like what started. I had been making videos before then, but that was like my first video to get like over 100K views on TikTok. And at that point, I wasn't really posting on other platforms either, because Facebook and Instagram was just people that I knew. And I'm gonna be honest, I was just like really shy. I didn't want people to think that I was like doing too much or whatever. So I was only posting on TikTok, but that started like growing my following on TikTok, right? And here's the thing. This is the other thing about just posting, about just starting. that was something that was true to me. I really don't know how to cook that well. I cook all the time because I have a husband and children, but I am not the best cook. Now, child, I am learning, but I'm no professional, okay? But it was authentic to me. I didn't see what worked for somebody else. Imagine somebody else seeing my video and them getting on the video saying that they have to call somebody to know how to cook, and that's not true. Like, it just doesn't translate well. You get what I'm saying? So you have to figure out what works for you. And once you start, girl, you don't have to be perfect, but you got to be consistent, okay? You got to be consistent. And consistency does not mean just posting anything, because remember, everything is not content, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's talk about what equipment I use. For the most part, I still use my iPhone. I have the iPhone 16 Plus. Ain't no Pro, ain't no Pro Max, Plus. I think the only plus in this is that it's a little bit bigger, but the camera is not even like the Pro. It's not even the top of the top iPhone, child. And it ain't gonna be, because they not about to keep getting. Anyways, so I use my iPhone. I have a ring light. The ring light that I have, I got from Walmart for like $12.97. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I have two other little lights. I'll insert them here and I'll link them down below, but the lighting didn't translate well for me, so I honestly don't use them. They're actually in storage under the futon in my office, okay? I don't use that. And as far as getting equipment, so very early on, once I started like realizing that I wanted to kind of like, my end game was YouTube, I did go out and I purchased a Sony ZV-E10. You do not have to do that, because let me tell you something, honey. I posted that, I bought that camera, I believe at the end of 2023, I believe. And I don't have that camera anymore. Not because it broke, not because whatever. I literally jumped off the porch head first. It ain't even like the start, in my opinion, it's not even like a starter camera. So I got the Sony ZV-E10. I couldn't figure out the settings on the camera. It ended up just being too bulky for me. I'm not a huge content creator yet, right? So I'm carrying around this big old camera with the interchangeable lens. I didn't have a need for it, and I bought it because girl was just doing the most, okay? So after I bought the Sony ZV-E10, I wasn't using it that much. I went out and I purchased, I did get it on sale, let me say that. I went out and I purchased the DJI Osmo Pocket 2. Now I did use that a lot. The issue with the DJI Pocket 2 that I had was that when I wanted to do short form video, and remember I was utilizing short form content to actually grow my following, I couldn't use the DJI Osmo Pocket 2. You could, but you had to like, I was using my phone, right? So I told myself, for one, girl, you are wasting a lot of money that you are not getting a return on your investment, okay? When you start spending money on your content, you should look at the ROI first, okay? And sister, I was just out here blowing money like I had it to spend, okay? And I wasn't getting any of that back. It just made no sense to me. So I told myself I wanted the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but I had to hit some type of milestone before I did it, okay? So I told myself when I made it to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube that I would purchase myself. That would be my reward to myself. And if you know, because it is harder to grow on YouTube than it is on other platforms. Once I made it to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I did purchase the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It was a good investment. I have definitely made a return on my investment multiple times. I'm gonna be honest. It is more expensive now than it was when I purchased it, but they also have newer and cheaper cameras since then, okay? But it just had to make sense to me. So what I did was, once I got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, because I could film short and long form content from this, I actually sold my Sony ZV-E10 and I sold the DJI Osmo Pocket 2. Now that I am growing a little bit more, I do feel like I need a camera, but I'm not gonna purchase it until it makes sense financially for me. Anything I can do it from here. My daughter also has the Sony ZV-1F, which is a very good starter camera. In fact, when I get another camera, it's probably gonna be the same camera that she has. I'm not going big until, it just has to make sense. Until you get to that point though, you can very well just use your phone. In fact, the iPhone 17 now has a vlogging function, and I actually want an iPhone 17. I ain't getting it because it got to make sense financially. I just don't feel like you should waste a lot of money just when you're growing. That's just my opinion, right? So, ring light, camera, ring light and a phone. Really, that is all you need to get started. I kid you not. That is all you need. That is all you need. I know sometimes you want the latest and the greatest. If you got it to spend, go for it. But if you don't have it to spend, my suggestion would be to wait until you are able to see that come back to you. One more thing about the equipment. You also need a tripod. Like, you're gonna have to have a tripod. You cannot sit your phone. Before you get the light, get the tripod. Let me just say that. Before you get the light, get the tripod, because you can't just be sitting your phone up on, now look, okay? As far as editing and things, I would suggest using CapCut. I do have CapCut Pro. Because there are some features that I just feel like, and I mean, if you already paying for Spotify, Netflix, all of the other things, if you are serious about content creation, I will say that it is worth making an investment into CapCut Pro. I have Canva Pro and ChatGPT Plus, or Pro, or whoever she is. Okay, I do pay for those three things, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think CapCut Pro and Canva Pro are kind of self-explanatory. You don't have to have it though, I'm gonna be honest with you. My son taught me how to edit in CapCut, and it was just regular CapCut. And I did that for a while until I actually picked a feature one time, and then they said this was a part of Pro, upgrade to Pro, and I did that, okay? And I edit on my phone and my iPad. I have tried to edit on the computer. It's just not convenient for me. I know some girls love to edit on the computer. I need convenience. I have a toddler. I'm always moving around. It is easier for me to grab my iPad and do it that way. I'll talk on ChatGPT very briefly. So I do use ChatGPT to plan out my content. I do not allow ChatGPT to work for me, but I allow it to work with me. So if I need like ideas, if I have something going on, I'm gonna tell ChatGPT, and then we're gonna plan content around that. So that's how I plan my long form content. That is how I get my hooks for my videos between ChatGPT and Pinterest. That's how I get hooks, because you have to have an engaging hook. You have to be able to hook the audience within like the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video. Otherwise, if you get on a video, if I'm on TikTok, I'm gonna just be honest with you, and I see somebody, hey girl, I'm scrolling. If I see somebody, okay, so today is, I'm scrolling. It could be valuable information. We just live in a microwave society where I need things fast and ready, and dragging out that first sentence is not engaging to me. I need you to be able to engage me, but we'll go a little further in that a little bit later. So let's talk about the good stuff. How do I get brand deals? Number one, make sure that you have your email in your bio on every single platform. On Instagram, on TikTok, definitely on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. Even if you are like me, I cannot stand posting on Facebook, but I do, and I'll tell you why in a second. Make sure that you have your email in your bio. 90% of the brand deals, whether paid, gifted, whatever, I get in my inbox, and that is simply because I have my email in my bio. The other thing about your email in your bio, think long term. What do you want your brand to speak about yourself? Do not have your email to be missjuicy69@gmail.com. Pick you something that is going to be, even if you decided to switch, even if you decided to do something different with your content, pick something for your brand, right? So like my email address is Latricia by Latricia. I'm the niche, the aesthetic, and the brand. So Latricia by Latricia. I actually created that email address years ago when my sister and I were playing around with the idea of having like a clothing line, and it just stuck. I don't care what I'm doing. It's always gonna be, my name ain't never gonna change. It's always gonna be Latricia by Latricia. The end, that is it. My username across all platforms is very simple. It's my first and middle name. those are not going to change. My last name has changed quite a few times over the last 40 years. But my first and middle name remain the same. The other thing is, before you start getting paid brand deals, you are going to want to work for free. Okay, I know we live in a society where time is money, and I get it, but you're gonna have to work for free, girl. Okay, you are going to have to, if you are putting on Fenty lipstick, tag Fenty, tag Fenty. If you are washing your hair, if you are using Dawn dishwashing liquid, tag Dawn. That's the other thing. So make sure your link is in your bio. Any brand that you're using, start tagging the brand. Okay. Trust me, it works. The other thing is, there are certain platforms that you can use to get gifted collabs and paid collabs, and we will talk about that now, okay? So here are a few that I use. I use Skeepers. Skeepers is typically just a lot of gifted collabs, which is fine by me. I am still a growing creator. Even when I've gotten to a certain point, I probably still will use it, because sometimes there's a lot of stuff on there that I actually like, right? So I use Skeepers, I use Coley, I use Sway, I use Aspire, that's the other one, and Join Brands. So these are platforms that you can go on. Some of them have, like I said, Skeepers has a lot of gifted collabs. Some of them you do have to have a certain following count, and they'll go and look at your analytics, but you know, still apply. And then there are some of those brands where you can apply and get paid brand deals. I have used them, I have gotten them, you know, and they work really well, and they also help you build up your portfolio, which we will talk about in a second. So that leads me to my other thing. If you are only thinking about people seeing you for you to make money, then you already lost, okay? One of the biggest ways that I have been able to be successful with content creation is doing UGC content. Now, my TikTok user handle used to be like Latricia Nicole, UGC creator. I didn't want to just box myself into UGC content, but I absolutely love doing UGC content. So UGC is user generated content. A lot of times for UGC, you film content for the brand, you send it to the brand, and you don't have to post it, and you get paid for it. A win-win, especially if you are one of those people who you don't want other people to, people that you know in real life to feel a certain type of way about what, you know how we do, okay? So UGC content is where it's at. I'm just going to be really honest with you. Now, I will say this. This goes back to everything is not content. You have to remember, when you are getting online and presenting yourself, unless you just want to go viral, and once again, that is fine. When you are presenting yourself to the world, think of, will a brand be able to use this to promote their service or their product? If you are doing a lot of cursing, if you are using a lot of trending audio that is like filled with vulgarity, if you on there showing parts of your body that nobody should see but you, the good Lord, and your husband, will a brand be able to use that? Will this be able to translate long term for me, right? And one of the biggest things I tell people about this, I posted a video on TikTok in June of 2024. It was me making party meatballs. The video went viral. That was fine. This year, in like March, April of this year, I received an inbound email, because my email was in my bio, from a platform, an actual social media platform. And they were like, hey, can we use the rights to your video? We will pay you. Let's negotiate your rates. We will pay you. We just want to use it to promote our platform. And when I clicked the link on the video that they were talking about, it was the meatballs video. Sure, we negotiated the rate, and I got paid a pretty penny for something that was already there. Do you think that they would have been able to reach out to me to do that if I would have had these mother taste so mother? No, I would not. They would not have. I could guarantee you. I know that we see the success of some people who are able to get on here and do whatever, but think about the bigger picture. Are they only going to be and I don't want to say names. So are they going to be able to do things on a bigger level if they are stereotyped to this one type of content? That's how I think. When I show up, I mean it in the most confident and arrogant way ever. I am the brand. I'm marketing myself. So do I curse? Yeah, we talk about this all the time. But will I pull out this camera and curse? No. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but even when I used to drink alcohol, when I started taking my content creation serious, I wouldn't post alcohol on my page because that's not what I wanted to be known for. With all of that being said, there have been some brand deals that I have had to turn down because it's certain things I'm not going to do. I don't know why I keep getting offers to create content for lingerie companies and underwear. I'm not going to post online in my underwear. I'm not putting it on. I don't care if it's a bra and panties. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I'm a married woman. I'm just not going to do it. No shade to the people that do it. I don't care how much they pay. I'm not doing it. That's just me. So yeah, everything is not content in that sense. And that's why I said at the very first tip was that you need to figure out your why, because your why might not be my why. So everything might be able to just be content for you. But for me, everything is not content. I'm not posting my children. The people that follow me know that I have a child with special needs. I am not posting my child just to get views and clicks and monetize. I'm not doing it. You know that my child has a special need, but that's about it. Like that's not content. That's not my story to tell. I'm not telling my personal business. I'm not doing no 50-part story time about how I got cheated on and blah, blah, blah. I'm just not. For one, I'm not platforming no other individual on my platform. This is about Latricia. This is Latricia Nicole, honey. But also that meatball video situation just let me know the brands are watching. You get what I'm saying? In that video, I actually didn't even tag a brand. Like I said, it was a social media platform that reached out to me to, with that being said, when your email is in your bio, you are going to get a lot of inbounds for gifted collabs. A gifted collab is where they are sending you the product for free. You get to use their product in exchange for a video. You're not bigger than the program. You're going to have to take that. You're going to have to take that, and I'm going to tell you why. So there will come a time when a brand will reach out to you and they want to collab with you, and they're going to say, what are your rates? My suggestion, I am all about uniform. I want, like I said, I'm building a brand. I am the brand. So I like to be as professional as possible. Instead of just spitting out numbers and seeing what lands, you want to create a rate card. A rate card typically is going to have your analytics, maybe a little section about the brands that you've worked with, what platforms you're available on, what services you offer. Do you just offer UGC content? Do you and then these are my rates. For one video, I might charge this amount. If you want the ad right, if you want usage to my video for 30 days, that's going to be a certain percentage of the flat fee. There is never a reason, in my opinion, where you should give someone usage rights to your video forever, but that's your choice, child. But I'm the brand, it's my stuff, okay? Unless it's UGC content. When you do UGC content and it ain't yours, they done paid you for it, and that's why you better make sure that you're getting paid for your stuff, because they can do whatever they want to do with it. It don't belong to you no more, boo-boo, okay? The other thing that you want to have is a media kit. And remember I said we would come back to why you want to start tagging brands. So in the media kit, you want to put together a portfolio or a resume, if you will, of content that you've created. And what better way to do that than, hey, I use this e.l.f. Hydro Glow whatever, and I got a video using it. I use, such and such and such. I'm gonna just tell you, like, one of my first paid brand deals was a wig collab, right? I wanted the wig. The wig was nice, okay? But sister, I don't know nothing about no hair, okay? I don't know nothing about no hair. I have 2 daughters. I don't comb no hair. My mother-in-law combs JC. Y'all get what I'm saying? But I wanted it and I needed to learn. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. I'm a mom. I don't comb hair. I I had to be able to incorporate that into I couldn't just get on there slapping a wig like I was a professional. So boom, they reached out to me in my inbox. They wanted to do a collab. They sent me the options of the wigs. I chose a wig that was a wear and go wig. So, cause I don't know how to cut, lay, and all that. So they told me, I lowballed myself on the price, which was fine. I didn't even have a rate card at the time. But what ended up happening was they wanted usage rights to the video forever. And I knew enough to know absolutely not. And no, absolutely not. So we were able to negotiate that, but I was actually able to add on to my rate. I didn't have a rate card at the time based on how long they were actually going to have the usage rights to my video. And I was able to incorporate that into my daily routine. I am a mom. I have a toddler. I'm a mom on the go all the time. What better way? Okay, a wear and go wig. So that brings me back to point number one, or somewhere in number one, that everything is not content. If you are going to be promoting for a brand, if you are going to be advertising, doing a partnership, figure out something that is going to be able to fit into what you do every day. Otherwise, it's not going to be authentic, right? And so that brings me to another stream of income with content creation, which is affiliate marketing. Unless you are already established, if you just getting your feet in, when you do your Amazon storefront, when you do Walmart storefront, Target storefront, I know we ain't supposed to be using Target storefront, a lot of stores have the store where you can have a storefront now. LTK, you want it to be able, so me personally, that is just not my lane. So if you see me post a link to my Amazon storefront, I do it all the time, but it's literally something that I'm really gonna use. I posted a link the other day to a planner that I got. I really started, because when you post a link, so my most successful affiliate marketing is through my Walmart storefront. So when you post a link to Walmart, let's just say I post a link to the 10-in-1 cooker, and then you go and you click on my link and you buy the 10-in-1 cooker and you do a grocery order. So I get a commission from all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't know. I'm not going to say never, because I don't know. But at this point in where I am in my content creation, I'm not one of those girlies I didn't have a sales job before. I'm not. No. So there are different ways, but my suggestion would be to start at one of those platforms, and then make sure that you're tagging everything, not just mentioning, make sure that you are tagging. All right, so let's talk about how I plan to create my content. Today is Monday. This is my third video that I have filmed on a Monday, and the reason being is because that's when I got free time. It's before I clock into work. I still have a regular job. My husband took the baby out this morning. So before I clock into work, this is what I'm gonna do. You have to figure out when you are going to film and what you are going to film. Once again, everything is not content. If you think you're gonna whip out your camera, me and my husband were just talking about this last night. I film a lot of stuff. So we were just talking about this yesterday, and I was telling him, like, when I'm vlogging, I might get in the mood and I might be talking about a bunch of stuff, and then when I go back and edit, I'm like, girl, no, this ain't nobody's business, and I edit it out, right? So once again, this is why I say everything is not content. So I like to plan my content, especially you have to plan if you have partnerships. Like right now, because I am not recovering, but because I'm just like getting back into the groove of things from having surgery, I have a lot of open packages that need to be open. I have a lot of content that I need to film. Obviously, I can't always do that with the toddler running around. Now, I do film a lot of brand content with my toddler running around, because listen, that little girl is a part of my brand. Like, not her specifically, but I'm a mama. Like, what, I can't lock the kids in the closet while I'm filming, you know what I'm saying? So then that brings me to this. When you are planning, you can use a regular smegular planner. I got this one. I will link it below. I got it from, it was in one of my vlogs recently. I just got this from Target. Regular planner, right? Prior to me buying this one though, I do have a content planner, and the reason why I invested, because it's an investment, into a content planner is because, once again, I'm building my brand. So I kind of wanted, I don't need to know that I need to film content for a brand and my baby got a 10 o'clock doctor's appointment for her well child checkup. Like, you get what I'm saying? You can. I'm just saying me. I know how I am. So a couple months ago, I purchased this planner. I paid for this with my own money. This is not no brand deal. And that's why I said it is an investment, because I think this was like $45 or $50. But I'll show you like 1 month. So you can like fill the months in yourself. This is like, so the months. You fill the dates in or whatever. And then there's a place for like your personal monthly budget, like your house, like bills or whatever, your income that's coming in, expenses. I do keep track of my expenses because now we're gonna write them off on our taxes, but that's a whole video for another day. Monthly earnings. It has a monthly finance tracker. And then it has a place for like goals. So like TikTok goals, Instagram goals, YouTube, Pinterest, your income from affiliate marketing, ad revenue, products, sponsorships, like you can, all of that, brands that you outreach for the month, your monthly goals, and then sponsored content planning. So I actually use this to plan out my content. But you also want to batch create. So one of the things with batch creating is, like, for instance, with one of my brand deals, it's easy to go look at my page and figure out what I'm talking about. But I typically, while I'm getting ready, I'm doing my makeup, I'll talk about that, right? So that's one video. This is another video. I have on a full face of makeup. Once I get off here, I'm going to go film another video, and I'm actually vlogging at the same time that I'm doing this. So you can get probably like in 1 day's worth of videos, you can get maybe like 5 pieces of content if you break it down. I work, I have a job. My advice for anybody that is trying to pursue content creation and working, whether you work in your house, out of your house, on top of your house, or whatever, separate your job and content. Do not make your job the content. Just don't. It don't mix well unless you got it like that, because when I'm at work, I'm at work. They don't have, I'm not filming. I'm on those people's clock. They pay me to do a job. I'm doing a job. When I'm off work, this is my time. I do what I want to do. I don't mention. You don't know. I have had people in the comments ask me, like, what do you do? Because I work from home. I'm ignoring the comment. Like, I don't even, no. If you are on site somewhere, baby, put the phone up, okay? All right, so this video has been long enough, but I feel like it's some really good information. If you have any more questions, you can definitely drop down in the comments. Oh, one more thing before I leave, girl. One more thing, and this should have been at the very beginning. Do not pay anybody for courses. This is no shade to the people that get paid for making courses, baby, do you. But information is free on the internet. Literally, we live in an age where you can perform heart surgery from the internet, girl. You can go and Google how to repair a heart on the internet, okay? Do not pay nobody for content creating tips. It's all free 99. So with that being said, if you have any questions, anything that I missed in the video, feel free to drop down in the comments and ask me whatever you want to know, whoever you are. It's free information. I just felt the need to make the video because I see people all the time saying, oh, I'm trying to make it to such and such. I'm trying to make it to 10,000. I'm trying to make it to 5,000. I'm trying to do that. And my question is always, what you trying to do with it? What you trying to do with it? Because you don't have to have that. I have not made millions. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not, but content creation, yeah. And then that leads to another thing. I would never sit in the break room in my regular job and tell people how much I make at my regular job. So the people who do pay transparency on social media, I'm all for it. But I have also seen, but anything else, if we can, we can chat it up. We can chat it up. And I could tell you without telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell you without, you get what I'm saying? So just remember that I'm always here to help for free. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much for watching. If for some reason you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channels, and I will see you girls in the next video. That's it. That's all. Bye.